Introducing the 3-part options course with Hans Albrecht. Get access for free by scanning this QR code or clicking on the link in the description.
Guys, welcome back. Hope you had a great week. So last week we had pretty much came back down into this support level and we bounced back up. But as you can see here, we are still struggling to see over this key level here at 6033. So the market, we know that this isn't a wave 4. So I won't be too surprised if this is our A wave, our B wave, and we come down for a C wave into that wave 4. You can see here this green path before we push up and move higher into the wave 5. Alternatively, this can be our wave 4, but again, the market needs to form a 1-2. It needs to pretty much turn on Monday if it wants to follow the pink path of moving higher like this. So yeah, needs has a lot of work to do if it wants to follow the pink path. But alternatively, people may ask me, what is the bear path? It is kind of looking like a head and shoulder. And we know that we do have a red path that if we do break this level at 5,900, then we know that we could very easily come down to test 5750 and 5550. We are watching that as well. And for that to happen, as I mentioned, we would at minimum need to break 5,900. And we know that even if we do come back there, we have a high chance of a bounce higher. So all that is very important in the market. Another thing to note is wicks, barely any follow through. You can see here we pushed higher, but we've not really gone up. So even if we do bounce, unless wicks breaks 20.3 here, I don't think we're gonna break down. I think these two paths are very likely. If we get above 20 on the wick, then I very much would short a lot of overbought stocks because we have a lot of room in that 5550 and even 5300. There's a lot of room to the downside, but the market needs to prove itself. Until proven otherwise, the trend is intact. And if we can get and stay above that 6050, then I would be looking at this pink path. If we cannot, then again, I would for a retest of this level at 55800, 5775 before we bounce. So those are the levels on ES. And we look at QQQ, for example. This again, you can see here, I mentioned till we break this trend line, there's no short even to the bottom of the channel. And you can see we're still kind of holding on to that channel. So if you I'll show you the pink path. If you want to follow the pink path, we must bounce here and we must push higher like this. Or if you want to follow the other green path in ES, that would be a blue path that I have marked here. So again, you would just break this, come back to retest the 500, 502 area, and we would again bounce off that region. You can see here, bigger picture, this is our channel, and we are very much kind of due to retest the top of the channel before we top. You can see here, every top usually goes to the top of the channel, and I've seen it happen not just on QQQ, across many different stocks across many years. So that's why my baseline bet is any sell-off still gets bought to move higher, but I don't rule out the fact that if we can break that 490, 500, then we can test 430 again. But yeah, I'm not too sure about that. IWM, I mentioned that as long as we stay below 220, we will probably come down to retest this 210 area. We try to break up, but we're back into the channel. So IWM could look like it could be a little bit more weak. We would again, you can see here, it's 228, 7 is your supply zone. We would need to break over this to have any kind of break. So I'm not bearish it. I'm looking at all paths. It's just been a choppy, tricky little bugger. So either 230 breaks for upside, or I would say 200 breaks, and then we could short it. Till then, it's just kind of in between. On IWM, and obviously the yields forcing it to kind of be weak. And you can see here, we are trying to break out of this bull flag, but I still think that we could reject it, come down to retest this box. But again, if we do break this 4.7, we're very much going to have a squeeze in the yields, and that's definitely going to put a lot of pressure on equity. So you need to keep an eye on the yields and the dollar. Again, I did see this as a wave 3 top. I do think we will again have a little bit of selling, but you can see here we are above the resistance. So doesn't have to sell. We can continue squeezing, but put pressure on the market. So all of these factors will play a key role. With that being said, let's look at this watch list. So I did have AMD bouncing off this fourth level, but you need to be careful given that the yields look very spiky. Till they reject, this could also stay weak. So that's the reason I have 120, 122 stop. As long as we hold above that, you can see here we do have a gap to fill here, and I very much think that we could push up into the gap. So I am looking for an oversold bounce about 125 into 128, 130, 133, and that is provided we hold this. If we fail this, we don't have any support down into 95. So you need to be very careful because this could be a quick sell down to 95 also. But yeah, it is looking oversold. You can see the volume is starting to pick up. We do have a demand zone here. So as long as we hold this 120, 122, we could go up to fill at least intermediate in the that's what I have for AMD. So I have Boeing next. I do think it's a little bit I have been calling for bugs, right? But it does look overdone. I think that if again, I could see a spike and drop, or if we do break this 178, 179, I could see a immediate drop into 170. So either way, if it spikes, I'm going to short it or breaks 178. I'm just looking for like a drop. I mean, a digestion, a pullback. I don't think this pattern breaks. I think when we come back here, I think we again base and we will finish this breakout into the top of this at 196. So it was going to 196, 200 in the future, but I just think that this needs a little bit of digestion, a little bit of selling. I do think 170 could be tested in win. So yeah, keep an eye on that. And again, it's the end of the year, so most people will be on holiday. Volumes may be low. You can expect some rebalancing and some big trades, but you need to be on time. So I would personally just take the week off if I were you. So yeah, that's what I have. Boeing. Next one I have is Roblox. It's something similar, right? Go to the 4-hour chart on Roblox. You'll be able to see that we have a massive gap to fill. We broke out of this pennant, and we know this was a major level of resistance. Broke out, we retested, now we're trying to break higher. Given that we have a gap up into that 68 level, and you can see we have consolidated for 10 days, I think that if you break 60, we should be able to jump into 65, 66. We do have a gap to fill. So at the very least, I can see Roblox up into that gap fill before we digest it. Keep an eye on Roblox. And last but not the least, I have XLE. And again, the pennant. We've broken the pennant. We did have the bounce off of support, and we are trying to reject. So if you break that 85, 84, then we could, continue to sell into that support level at 78. Keep an eye on the any bound. It has one more low to make. I don't think it's done. So look for more selling given that the pattern is broken down. So yeah, that's all I have for this week. I hope you have a great day.
Join Chase to trade with Rithika and other experts. Subscribe to LaDuc Trading YouTube channel for more Wolf's weekly wave list videos and other content.